Hey there, let's talk about feeling good again. Picture this. You wake up one morning, stretch a little, and realize your neck doesn't ache. You walk to the kitchen, maybe even out to your garden, and your knees don't complain with every step. Your hands, usually stiff and sore, feel ready to hold a cup of coffee or hug a grandkid without that familiar twinge. Sounds like a dream, right? But for so many folks, especially as we get older, neck pain, creaky joints, and brittle bones are more than just a nuisance. They can change how you live your life. What if I told you there's a simple, natural way, passed down through generations, to ease that pain and help you move a little easier? I'm a doctor who spent over 30 years researching what keeps us healthy, especially as we age. I've sat with countless patients who've struggled with stiff necks, achy joints, or bones that just don't feel as strong as they used to. And while modern medicine has its place, things like painkillers, physical therapy, or even surgery, it often comes with side effects or a hefty price tag. That's why I'm excited to share a gentle remedy from Asian traditions that's been helping people feel better. It's not complicated, it's not expensive, and it's something you can try at home. We're going to dive into this remedy, talk about why it might work, and hear some stories from real people who found relief. Plus, I'll throw in some practical tips from my years in medicine to help you make the most of it. So grab a comfy seat, maybe a warm drink, and let's get started on this journey to feeling better. What's going on with your body? Let's start by figuring out what's causing that discomfort you're feeling. Maybe it's a stiff neck that makes it hard to turn your head, or shoulder pain that flares up after a cold night. Perhaps your knees ache when you climb stairs, or your hands hurt when you try to open a jar. These are signs of what we doctors call degenerative conditions. Your neck, specifically the cervical spine, can wear down over time, causing pain that might spread to your shoulders or arms. Your bones can get brittle, a condition called osteoporosis that makes them more likely to break. And your joints, like your knees, hips, or hands, can get sore and stiff, especially when it's chilly outside. So why does this happen? Think of your body like a house that's been lived in for years. It's strong, but it's taken some wear and tear. Maybe you spent years doing hard work, lifting heavy things, working on a farm, or standing all day at a job. That kind of strain adds up. If your diet hasn't always included the nutrients your bones and joints need, like calcium or vitamin D, that plays a role too. Cold weather can make things worse by tightening your muscles. And, well, just getting older naturally wears down our joints and bones. I've seen this in so many patients. Folks who've worked hard their whole lives, like farmers or construction workers, and now their bodies are asking for a little extra care. But here's the good news. Those aches and pains are your body's way of saying, hey, I need some help. And we can answer that call. I've worked with people like Mike, a retired farmer who couldn't garden anymore because of neck pain, or Lisa, a grandmother worried about breaking a bone after a fall. Their stories are probably a lot like yours, and they found ways to feel better. Let's see how you can too. All right, let's talk about this remedy. It's something that's been used for ages in parts of Asia, and it's so simple you might wonder if it's too good to be true. It uses just 2 ingredients you can find at most grocery stores: a dark, nutty grain, sometimes called black rice or violet rice, and a small, hearty bean, often known as a green-hearted bean. These aren't fancy or hard to find. They're affordable and packed with goodness. Here's how you make it, and I'll walk you through it like we're in my kitchen. First, you'll need to roast the rice and beans, but keep them separate because they cook a little differently. Use a low heat, not a big flame, just a gentle warmth, like you're warming up on a cool morning. Stir them while they roast, and let their smell fill the air. The rice will give off a cozy, toasty aroma, and the beans will smell earthy, like a walk in the woods. Don't let them burn. You're looking for a nice, fragrant scent. Once they're done, pour them into separate jars and store them somewhere cool, like a cupboard. Every day, here's what you do. Take half a cup of the roasted rice and 1 tablespoon of the roasted beans. Put them in a thermos. That's great for keeping things warm. Pour in a liter of boiling water, close it up, and let it sit. The heat pulls out all the good stuff from the rice and beans, making a warm, flavorful water. Sip that water throughout the day. It's not just a drink. It's like giving your body a little hug, nourishing it from the inside. I've seen folks start to notice a difference in just a couple of weeks. Less stiffness, less pain. Some, after a month or so, say they're moving better than they have in years. It's not magic. It's your body saying thank you for the care. Let me tell you about Mike, a 62-year-old guy who loved his garden more than anything. Mike was a retired farmer, and tending his vegetables was his joy. But his neck started acting up. Every time he turned to check his tomato plants, he'd wince in pain. He came to my clinic, frustrated and a bit down. Tests showed he had cervical spondylosis, which is just a fancy way of saying his neck joints were wearing out. Painkillers helped a little, but they upset his stomach. And he wasn't thrilled about taking them long term. I sat down with Mike and told him about this rice and bean remedy. I explained how to roast the ingredients, how to sip the water every day. I also suggested some gentle neck stretches, like slowly tilting his head side to side and adding some calcium-rich foods, like yogurt, to his diet. Mike was curious but skeptical. "Doc," he said, "can something this simple really help?" I told him to give it a try and see what happens. 3 weeks later, Mike walked into my office with a big grin. "I turned my head to look at my zucchini plants yesterday, and it didn't hurt," he said. By 2 months, he was back in his garden, pulling weeds and harvesting veggies without a second thought. Mike's story isn't just about the remedy. It's about sticking with it, combining it with other healthy habits, and believing you can feel better. Why this might work for you? You're probably wondering, like Mike did, how something so straightforward can make a difference. Let me break it down in a way that makes sense. The dark rice is special because it's loaded with antioxidants. Think of them as tiny helpers that calm down the inflammation causing your joint pain. The beans are packed with protein and minerals like magnesium, which your bones need to stay strong, kind of like the foundation of a house. Drinking this water does a few great things. First, it keeps you hydrated, which is super important for your joints. When your body's dehydrated, your joints get stiff, like a hinge that needs oil. The warm water also helps, especially in cold weather when your muscles tighten up. Plus, roasting the rice and beans might make their nutrients easier for your body to use, and it gives the water a pleasant taste, so you'll actually want to drink it. Now, I've got to be straight with you. This remedy hasn't been studied in big clinical trials, so we don't have hard proof it works for everyone. Results can vary, and if you've got severe pain or really weak bones, you'll need more than just this drink. Maybe a doctor's help with medications or other treatments. But in my experience, combining this remedy with a healthy diet, some exercise, and regular checkups can make a real difference. It's like giving your body a team of helpers to tackle those aches and pains. Here's another story that might hit home. Lisa was a 70-year-old grandmother who loved baking cookies with her grandkids. But after a small fall broke her wrist, she got scary news. She had osteoporosis, meaning her bones were getting brittle. Lisa was terrified of losing her independence, of not being able to keep up with her family. Her bone density test showed she was at high risk for more fractures, and that weighed heavy on her heart. When Lisa came to me, we talked about her options. She was already starting some medications like bisphosphonates and taking vitamin D. I suggested adding this rice and bean remedy to support her bones. I walked her through the roasting process and told her to drink the water daily. Lisa loved the nutty flavor and made it part of her routine. 6 months later, her next bone density scan showed a slight improvement, something we don't see often. Lisa was thrilled, not just because of the numbers, but because she felt stronger, more confident. She was back to baking, lifting her grandkids, and living life on her terms. Lisa's story shows how this remedy can be a partner to modern medicine, helping you build a stronger foundation. This rice and bean water is a fantastic start, but taking care of your joints and bones is like tending a garden. You need to nurture it in a few different ways. Here are some tips I share with my patients based on what I've seen work over the years. First, let's talk food. Your bones need calcium, so try to include things like milk, yogurt, or leafy greens like kale in your meals. Aim for about 1,200 milligrams of calcium a day. That's like 3 glasses of milk or a mix of dairy and veggies. Vitamin D is just as important, helping your body absorb that calcium. You can get it from sunlight, fatty fish like salmon, or a supplement. About 800 IU a day is a good target. Foods like salmon or walnuts also have omega-3s, which are great for calming inflammation in your joints. If you're not sure your diet's covering these, talk to your doctor about supplements. Movement is key, but it doesn't have to be intense. A daily walk, even just 15 minutes, can keep your joints loose and your muscles strong. Swimming or yoga are great too. They're gentle but effective. If you want to build strength, try lifting light weights, like a couple of soup cans, to support your bones. And pay attention to your posture. Sitting up straight and keeping your shoulders back can take pressure off your neck and back. Your lifestyle matters too. If you're carrying extra weight, losing even a little, like 5 to 10 pounds, can make your joints feel better. If you smoke, quitting is one of the best things you can do for your bones. Smoking makes it harder for them to heal. And stress? It's not just in your head. It can weaken your bones by raising cortisol levels. Try simple things like deep breathing, a short meditation, or even listening to calming music to unwind. Don't skip out on medical care. Physical therapy can work wonders, with exercises tailored to strengthen your muscles and ease stiffness. If your condition is more serious, your doctor might suggest medications like NSAIDs for pain or bisphosphonates for osteoporosis. Regular checkups, including bone density tests, help you track how you're doing. Combining these modern approaches with natural remedies like the rice and bean water gives you the best shot at feeling good. Let me share one more story about Bob, a 55-year-old construction worker who was struggling with joint pain that got worse every winter. Bob's knees and hands would ache so much that just getting through a workday felt impossible. He'd tried over-the-counter pain relievers, but they only helped so much, and he didn't want to rely on them forever. A friend mentioned this rice and bean remedy, and Bob figured he'd give it a shot. I met Bob when he came to me for advice on managing his pain. I explained how to make the remedy and encouraged him to drink it daily. I also suggested some low-impact exercises, like walking or stretching, to keep his joints moving, and eating anti-inflammatory foods like berries and nuts. Bob was game to try it, and within a month, he noticed his knees weren't as stiff, especially on those cold mornings. He told me, "I can climb the ladder at work now without cursing under my breath." Bob's experience shows how this remedy can make a difference, especially when the weather's working against you. I bet you've got some questions, just like Mike, Lisa, and Bob did. Let's go through a few I hear a lot, like we're chatting in my office. Is this safe for me? For most folks, absolutely. The rice and beans are natural, like foods you've probably eaten before. But if you've got kidney issues, check with your doctor first. The beans have potassium, which needs to be balanced. Same goes if you're on medications that affect your blood. Can I use other kinds of rice or beans? The dark rice and small beans are the stars here because of their unique nutrients. But if you can't find them, brown rice or black beans might do in a pinch. They're not quite as potent, so try to stick with the originals if you can. How long should I keep this up? Think of it like watering a plant. It takes time to see results. Try it every day for 4 to 8 weeks and pay attention to how you feel. If you're noticing less pain or more mobility, keep going. If not, let's talk to your doctor about other options. What if it doesn't work? Not every remedy clicks for everyone. If you don't see a change after a couple of months, don't give up. Your doctor can run tests or suggest treatments to get to the root of your pain. This remedy is a tool, not the whole toolbox. As a doctor, I'm fascinated by how traditional remedies like this one fit into modern medicine. They often work by tackling the basics: nutrition, hydration, reducing inflammation, that pills sometimes miss. For example, a study in the Lancet Rheumatology from 2021 found that lifestyle changes, like better diet and exercise, can cut arthritis symptoms by up to 30%. The antioxidants in that dark rice do something similar, fighting inflammation at the cellular level. That said, we don't have big studies on this exact remedy yet, which is a limitation. I'd love to see researchers test it against a placebo or standard treatments to confirm what I've seen in my patients. For now, I think of it as a low-risk, high-reward option, something worth trying if you're motivated to take charge of your health. This remedy comes from a long tradition in Asia where food is seen as medicine. In places where doctors aren't always nearby, remedies like this are lifelines. Around the world, you see similar ideas, like turmeric in Indian cooking or ginger in Chinese recipes. These traditions are gaining new fans, especially among folks frustrated with the side effects of Western drugs. I've met healers in different countries who all say the same thing. Simple, consistent habits beat complicated fixes. This rice and bean water is proof of that. Affordable, doable, and sustainable. After all these years in medicine, I believe health is like a puzzle. No single piece, like this remedy, completes it. It's about combining good nutrition, movement, rest, and a positive outlook. My patients who do best are the ones who take ownership of their health, mixing old wisdom with new science. Their resilience inspires me, and I hope it inspires you too. So let's bring it all together. This remedy, roasting dark rice and small beans, steeping them in hot water, and drinking it daily, is a gentle way to support your joints and bones. It works by giving your body antioxidants to fight inflammation, nutrients to strengthen your bones, and hydration to keep your joints moving smoothly. But it's not just about the drink. It's about building a healthier you, step by step. Mike, Lisa, and Bob show us what's possible when you stick with it. Pair this remedy with a diet rich in calcium and omega-3s, like greens and fish. Add in some easy exercise, like walking or yoga, and keep up with your doctor's advice, whether that's therapy or meds. Be patient. Results might take a few weeks, but they can be life-changing. Most importantly, believe you have the power to feel better. Here's the big takeaway. Healing is a journey, not a race. Small, steady choices, sipping this water, eating well, moving a bit each day, add up to big results. Trust your body's ability to heal. Lean on both traditional remedies and modern care, and know that your health is worth every effort. Have you tried any natural remedies for aches and pains? Maybe something your family swore by? Drop your story in the comments. I'd love to hear what's worked for you. If you give this rice and bean water a try, let me know how it goes. Hit that subscribe button to stay in the loop, and tap the bell so you don't miss our next chat. Let's build a community of people who are all about living healthier, happier lives. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Here's to fewer aches, more movement, and a whole lot of hope for the road ahead. If you've made it this far, I know you're someone who truly cares about your health, especially the strength of your bones and joints. Thank you for watching this video. I hope the new tips and insights we've explored together will help you live a healthier, more vibrant life every day. But here's a quick heads up. On platforms like YouTube, you might come across ads from pharmaceutical companies promising miracle products. Remember, lasting bone and joint health doesn't happen overnight. Issues like joint pain or osteoporosis take time and consistency to improve. Instead of chasing quick fixes, trust in the power of a natural lifestyle. Eat wholesome foods, stay committed to exercises that support your body, and keep learning about how your body works. Which tip from this video did you find most helpful? Drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you never miss our upcoming videos. Let's build a healthier future together, starting today. Disclaimer: the information provided in this video is for educational and informational purposes only. The information provided is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified health providers with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition. Never disregard professional medical advice or delay in seeking it because of something you have read or watched on this channel. Reliance on any information provided by this channel is solely at your own risk.